Hi, I'm Bob Nystrom.
Hi, this is Bo Dietl.
Hey, this is Rich Big Daddy Salgado.
Hi, this is Doc Goodney, and you're watching Sports Biz.
Sports Biz.
Sports Biz with LD.
Sports fans, this is Sports Biz with LD.
Hi, I'm Larry Davis, host of Sports Biz with LD, and on my left, Sal, is my co-host today from Alure Home Remodeling. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to speaking some sports with you and catching up.
Sal, am I correct to say, you cheated on me today a little bit? Were you on another show here on the Daily Blue?
What? Did the shirt give it away? Yes, I do have other friends besides you, Larry Davis.
Really? You have other friends besides me? Well, you know something? We're all family here. I won't say those guys are like my brothers because I don't really know them that well, but I'll say they're like a cousin. So a cousin show is fine with me.
Cousin that you never met, but great guys and a great show, and it was convenient to even come here and spend some time with you as well.
Well, I appreciate that. It's very nice of you. Of course, as usual, you can always check us out on Facebook, Twitter, see all the past shows on the website, all that good stuff. We start the show off with Off My Chest, sponsored by the Rampart Group for all your insurance needs, whether it's life insurance, health insurance, business insurance. You never know what you might need. The RampartGroup.com is the place for you to be. Sal, I know you're a big Met fan.
Yes.
I really wasn't going to talk much Met baseball today because there's really not much. But
there is much. We won last night.
Okay, we won last night. That's true. So let's talk about the pitching. Got a lot of good young pitching. They are coming up. The Mets have always said that's what it's all about, our young pitching. Tell us a couple of guys you like and why you like them.
Well, they've got a lot of arms, but doesn't matter how many arms they have, Larry, they've got to hit a little bit. I mean, some of these kids are coming up and they're getting no support. This kid DeGrom looked great. Montero's been fine. We have Harvey, who's going to get back maybe the end of this year, beginning of the year after. Hefner, we've got Syndergaard in the minors still. Neesa's still young. Zach Wheeler's a stud, and we've got all the strength in pitching. We haven't given him a bullpen to protect these leads, so we've lost many games by blowing saves, and nobody's hitting. Other than Murphy hitting a little bit, Granderson's starting to hit a little bit right now. The only guy I really think you can count on, Wright, there's no power coming from Wright. I do love this Juan Lagares.
I'll tell you, why doesn't he play Juan Lagares every game? And what is Bobby, what's his problem with him? I don't get it.
I don't understand. This kid is as good as it gets in the outfield. He saves runs. He gives pitchers feel, and at Citi Field, you got a big outfield.
Yeah, it's a tough place to hit. Terry Collins says that, but, they got to hit. You look at Granderson's numbers, though. In April, he was terrible. Yeah. But, here in May, he's hitting over 300. He's got about 5 home runs, got about 13, 14 ribbies. Is he catching on? Is it because they play, on the road he's hitting and it's still in Citi Field, he just can't hit?
5 home runs. 40% of those home runs are in Yankee Stadium.
That's a good point. The old Yankee Stadium where he did his best work.
Yankee Stadium is his bandbox. Granderson goes in there, and it's like he's Babe Ruth. He comes to Citi Field. It's a different game. Citi Field, doubles, triples, singles. It's a pitcher's park, and that's why defense is so important. That's why Terry Collins needs to put Juan Lagares out there every single day because he's one of the best center fielders in all of baseball.
Listen, he's one of the best players. Right there and then he should be on the field every day. He should go with Wright, got to go with Granderson, got to go with Murphy. There's certain guys.
Dude is not so bad. That whole thing pushing Ike Davis over to Pittsburgh, good move. Let Duda go out there and play every day. Is he the prototypical first baseman? Not really. But he's going to do better going out there every day. And so far his numbers aren't horrible.
Sometimes it's all about a change of scenery. You look at Ike Davis now at Pittsburgh. He's playing well. This whole year we're always going to compare each one. Duda to Davis, Davis to Duda, and that's really going to see who ends up winning the first base job. Whether the Mets made the right move or, unfortunately, the wrong move. They've made too many of those.
I think they made the right move. Davis went over there, had a quick start, and then he went over for a 20-something for a while. Had a couple of hits. He's going to be streaky. He'll probably play well over there because the exact words he said were, wow, when I was in this huge slump, they just played me like nothing was wrong. If I were in New York, I'd be hearing boos every day. He needs to be over in Pittsburgh. Dude who can handle what's going on here. I think we'll be better off.
And what do you think of the catching situation? Travis Darno, he had the concussion. He's had a few concussions. I mean, I didn't realize that. That's a tough thing. What do you think about him?
Well, he's been injury prone. He came to the Mets with a little history of injuries. He hasn't hit a lick. I think that it's concerning. And I think before he went out with the concussion, they were close to sitting him anyway. So I think maybe even sending him down to the minors. He's got to get his average up. Got to hit somewhat. As far as the catcher and defense, yeah, he's real good.
Well, that would be another wow because, again, Sandy Alderson, I mean, the fourth year of his 5-year plan, Travis was a big trade for him. These guys got to come through. Like before you were saying about Zach Wheeler, Zach's not pitching that well. No. He's got it, but he's still not pitching that well. I mean, is the result. So, I don't know if his time is coming. I'll tell you another thing. I like Terry Collins, but why not bring in Wally Backman? I mean, the guy's an 86 Met. He's fiery. I mean, that's the one thing. I like Terry, but you never see Terry pissed. You never see Terry throw something. I mean, come on. Sometimes you got to get in that clubhouse and fire some people up. And I don't see him do it. It's too laid back for this team.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that they've continued to give Terry Collins a break because of the lineup that he's gotten, the plays he's gotten. Somebody's got it's either Sandy Olson, Terry Collins, or ownership has to rethink on their strategies. As far as Wally Backman, yeah, I think he'd be great for the team. But when he was ready to come over, there were some concerns. Kind of died away. He had a little personal issues.
Sam, that was I didn't like that. The whole personal issues when he was going to Arizona was like weak. Like he didn't tell them something. To me, that guy is a very good manager. We all have stuff that probably, off the field or whatever isn't great. It's not terrible. I like Wally Backman for this team.
Tell me what you have off the field. Do you want to get it off your chest?
I would have said it on Realty Connect if I was on there, but I wasn't on there.
This is a sports show. It's not a therapy show.
Right. Realty Connect, it's different. I can air those things out.
We'll get Wally Backman.
Or if I get back on that Daily Blues show that Corinne had me on last week, I was with the girls. I mean, that's a good little gab fest.
How can you call me for that show? You call me for this, but not for that show.
They might call you. You did 2 today. Maybe there's a 3rd show for you after this. I don't even know. Who knows if the studio's booked?
Well, we got to check with my publicist.
Oh, yeah, right, Seth. We got to make sure if that's okay. We'll ask him. On the way driving home, he'll check for you.
Yes.
He'll check that schedule. So the other thing I found out about you, you're a very loyal guy, which I think works well in your business at Alure. I mean, you're very loyal to your employees. You're very loyal to customers, doing a little homework on you. You really are that way to your clients.
We sell home improvements and we fix homes, but really it's a people business. I grew up with a lot of brothers and sisters. Lost my dad and my brother when I was young, very close to the family, staying together, helping each other out. And I just believe that's what life's all about. And I don't believe in the old school way of, keeping the distance between yourself and your employees. I'm a CEO that, eats, goes out, parties, socializes with the people that I work with, and I care about them. And if things don't work out, we sit down and we make them work. Tenure is important to me, and I like longevity in my company. I like to have a stable workplace, and I believe that if you can create that environment of tenure and people that are loyal to you, they're going to be loyal to our customers as well.
And you're also big in the community. I know you won a big award last week, and you got to love that kind of stuff.
Where
even
were
though
you?
I wasn't invited. I mean, again, there's another thing.
The whole Long Island was invited.
I'm not the whole Long Island.
Larry, Long Island Association. Everybody got an interview.
Maybe guys who grew up in Queens didn't get an invitation. Maybe you started 718 and you moved to 516. Maybe I missed that. I don't know. But tell us about
you
that.
Buried it.
How would I do that to my older brother? I would never do that to you.
I want to do a little age check here because you're a thinner, better-looking version of me. It looks like.
That's very nice of you.
But I do think I have a better hairline. I was looking, and I'm just saying. Okay.
I did say to Corinne, we need some makeup people here or something, because that would help. But she hasn't worked that out. I'm sure she's working on that. Seth does it all. What is he, all purpose?
And my girlfriend Molly was tweezing the grays out of my eyebrows before we got here too.
Before my show or Realty Connect?
Before your show, actually.
Oh, really? So
I went to Realty Connect with gray in my eyebrows.
I'm gonna have to look at that tape.
Yeah, you will.
So tell us about the award. I mean, I love the charity. You're involved in a lot of charity. You won a humanitarian award. Yeah. I love it. I mean, tell us about that.
Long Island Association, the biggest business advocacy group on Long Island. They have an awards gala once a year. They had almost 1,000 people there. And they gave me the Harry Chapin Humanitarian of the Year award from myself and my employees. And I was very proud to accept it because, number one, I have a ton of respect for the LIA. And I do believe that being recognized along with my employees for all the good we do in the community is important. I believe that, part of my speech, I said, I do believe that giving is better than receiving, and I hope that in some small way, when we're out there doing what we do, we've done 8 extreme makeovers on TV. We've done so much charity work for all these different charities on Long Island. I'm hoping that we're inspiring other companies to do the same, and I think we are. I really do.
What I really love most about what you said is like when you said when I accepted the award for myself and my employees. I love that. That's what you were just saying.
Nothing without my
it's
employees.
us.
Yeah.
The old. There's no I in team, and you are that kind of guy with your employees. How many employees you have?
We have over 100 employees, about 125, 130 employees, and most of our work is Long Island, Nassau and Suffolk County. We do some work in the boroughs. But most of our work is Long Island.
It's great stuff. On Monday I was at the Ron Darling Celebrity Classic. Ron was on the cover of the Pulse magazine. I did invite you. See, I got you that invitation. You told me you couldn't make it.
I was down in Washington talking with Barack Obama.
And that night I probably was home. Was it Friday night? What was the night you won the award?
Friday night.
Friday night. I'm usually home with my family, but we could have made an exception. But that's okay. So
put him on the invite.
for next year's award. So we were at the Ron Darling Foundation dinner. Unfortunately, you couldn't have been there. I did a couple of interviews. We have them on tape. First guy I interviewed was ex-Met manager Bobby Valentine. Let's see what Bobby Valentine had to say. Guys, roll the tape. Let's see what Bobby had to say. Hi, I'm Larry Davis, Sports Biz with LD, here at the Ron Darling Celebrity Golf Classic. And who did we find? Bobby V. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Larry. How are you, pal?
I like that live with the, who's calling
I
in?
had to turn it off. I don't want to interrupt your show. Gosh, got to put it on silent mode.
Maybe someone from SNY calling in on how the Mets are doing.
Yeah, everyone's got to figure it out, and I'm here. So what do we got?
Well, think about it. With the Mets, after they lose the first 3 to Washington, to the Nationals, they're 0-3. Everybody's like, it's over. Jumping off the wagon, the Mets are done, and Sandy Alderson said they're going to win 90 wins. I got to tell you, personally, I like that Sandy went out and said they should win 90 games this year. As you as a manager, and you were the manager of the Mets, what would you think about that?
Oh, I wouldn't like that. Yeah. No, I don't think there's any need for it. I mean, unless you really have a team that's built to win 90 games, or they had won 90 games the year before. I mean, to think that you're going to go from less than 60 to 90 games is rather preposterous.
So now, Bobby, you heard what Bobby said. I happen to have liked that Sandy Alderson said, the team should win 90 games. His opinion as a manager, if he did that to him, he would not have been happy.
What are you supposed to do? And say, hey, coach, you're going to have a mediocre season, and hey, good luck. You're supposed to throw out there, the team I put together, I expect to win 90 games. I have no problem with what Sandy Alderson said. 0. Did he put together a team capable of winning 90 games? That's a whole nother discussion. But he believes he did. He has solid pitching. We really got hit early in the season with a couple of blown saves. I think 7 already, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference in the record. At one point, we were on tap to win 90-something games. We could still do it. The fact is, I don't believe you should go into a season saying, hey, listen, coach, have a mediocre season, you're okay. So I don't have a problem with what he said at all.
Well, that's like you. You go to, hey, guys, we don't have to make this house perfect. We'll make it okay and everything will be all right. You won't be in business.
Yeah.
Let's see what Bobby had to say. I asked him also about Masahiro Tanaka, Bobby being in Japan for a number of years and won a championship there. So I would have thought that he got a little better take even though he was a lot younger. Let's see what Bobby had to say about that.
It's just one of these things. It's not like all Japanese are the same, and it's not like, well, I was in Japan, so therefore I know everything about the Japanese pitchers, or that Terry was there for a few months and that he knows everything. You don't know everything other than that this guy's been quality all of his life. He's a great high school pitcher. He was a number one draft choice, not a number 1 draft choice, but the number 1 draft choice in Japan, which is a very high honor. And, as a 19-year-old, he pitched on the WBC team, so he's quality true and true, and he knows how to pitch and has very good pitches.
He does. Him being in Japan, and a little bit about Tanaka. I didn't realize that he said that Tanaka was the number 1 pick in all of Japan, which you could see. This guy is dominating. The stat, Sal, that to me really is the blow. Besides he's 6-1. He's got about 60 or so strikeouts with less than 10 walks. I mean, that's a wow.
This guy pitches the way he's supposed to pitch. Doesn't try to overpower you every time. We were talking earlier.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't try to overpower you every time. He picks corners. He positions himself right. He's a smart pitcher. You know, he pitched against Matt Harvey.
No, I did not.
Cooperstown, when they were both, what was it, like 18, 19 league Cooperstown tournament, and he pitched, and I think he gave up some big home run or something. But it was actually the same day. They were both pitching in the same tournament. It was a 2-game American kids against the Japanese, and it was Harvey and Tanaka.
Well, interesting. You did say that the one thing he does, he gives up the home run a little bit. So if you can get a guy on base, which he doesn't really let many guys on base, that's the only way you're going to score a couple of runs on you. Right. You know, today on Friday, you know, as we're taping, yesterday happened to be Tommy John's birthday. Let's see what Bobby V said, because I was like, all these guys are getting injured and getting Tommy John surgery. I think as we're taping, 16 or 17 guys. Let's see what Bobby V had to say about all these guys getting injured. For at least a year.
Yeah, maybe even more than that. It's probably the information age. You know, these guys know more. Their mechanics are better than they used to be. They're stronger than they used to be. They throw harder than they used to, and it's a lot of stress on the old elbow. And you know, they got to get rid of that and put in one that they give a 10-year warranty on, and go forward.
There's something up, Sal. Maybe there's something in the water, you know? I mean, in the Gatorade. I'm sorry. I mean, there's something in the Gatorade.
You know, years ago, guys would pitch hurt. The money has changed the game completely, Larry. You got a little something wrong, you're going to get checked. And you're going to err on the side of, I want to get back in my career to make a lot of money.
And the thing is about having that guaranteed money. And, you know, you're right, it is all about money. And that's why it's Sports Biz with LD, because it is business. It's not sports anymore, man. All of this stuff are billion-dollar businesses. Another guy that we met so many guys at the Ron Darling Foundation, but another guy, a good friend of mine, David Cohn. Chatted with Coney a little bit. Let's hear what Coney had to say. I asked him about, has the Subway Series lost a little luster? Let's hear what Coney had to say. Hey, it's Sports Biz with LD. I'm Larry Davis. Coney, David Cohn, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me on.
I love having you on, man. I tried to get you on a couple of times. You're a little busy, Coney, doing the Yankee games.
Yeah, it's those jobs get in the way.
Subway Series just over. You know, is it lost a little of the cachet from when it first started?
Well, I'm not sure. You know, the format's a little different. The fans are still going to the games. The attendance is still doing well. The television ratings were up a little bit. So, yeah, compared to the original Subway Series, it's probably not quite, you know, as big, but people are still into it.
Yeah. So, Sal, did you go to the Subway Series at all this year?
No. I used to go to all the games. I don't go.
So, has it lost its luster? Is it not that big of a deal for you?
You know, it's not as big as it used to be with the interleague play the way it is right now, and the Yankees and the Mets just kind of going in different directions. To me, it just should be every other year or something like that. I do like the format, 2-2. I like that better than the full series, and we meet back again. I like the 2-2.
So when you were going, you know, for your business at Alure Home Improvement, would you bring clients, employees? I mean, is that a good way to do business?
Series?
Yeah.
If I got tickets, my kids and my brother, I can't even get past that.
Again, another invitation Larry just doesn't get. Just want to make
put
sure.
Larry on the invitation list.
Seth, do something. Are you writing notes down, Seth?
You're on like 4 lists already.
You know, Larry, I had 150 friends there. You're my 151st friend.
Oh, really? Is that how it goes? More with David Cohn. I mean, David Cohn's a good buddy of mine. I asked David, how can I not, about the great Derek Jeter. Here's what he had to say about Derek. Hey,
Well, he just knows what he's doing. You know, he has great stuff, and that splitter is probably one of the best I've seen. You know, but he's got other pitches to go with it as well. He's good curveball, good slider. His fastball, he can add to it when he needs to. When he gets into a jam, he seems to get tougher. So he's got all the makings to be a keeper for a long time.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Imagine I did make a mistake.
No.
That was him talking about Tanaka, not Derek Jeter. We do have it about Derek Jeter. Let's see what he said about Derek Jeter.
Well, it is amazing. 20 years in New York, and he's kept himself out of the tabloids for the most part, and still single. So it's very rare for a guy like that to handle himself the way he has. I really think he's impacted the value of the franchise. The New York Yankees, one of the best franchises ever, maybe the #1 sports franchise in all of sports. Derek Jeter for 20 years really had a major impact on the value of that franchise. And
I mean, what can you say about Derek? I've met Derek many times, did business with Derek. He's right. That's a very good point. For 20 years, single in New York, how nothing is out there. I mean, you can't find one girl. Somebody's got to be jilted. I mean, whether or not you did anything wrong, you have to be upset. I was with Derek, and now I'm not. Nothing is out there with the Inquirer, the Star, TMZ, which could be here. I mean, I don't know. There are TMZs everywhere.
I don't think they're here, Larry.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Wow. Oh, they were on Realty Connect.
Realty Connect.
Or the Daily Blue, but they
Not
don't
here.
come to this show.
But, you're right. And listen, as a Met fan, what could you say about Derek Jeter? I wish he played for the Mets the last 20 years. So that's the biggest compliment
I
you
would
can
think
give a
every
player.
team would say that,
I
Sal.
wish he played for the Mets the last 20 years. Phenomenal player, phenomenal, clutch player, a guy who has hurt us plenty of times. I really wish he would have announced the retirement with the team and that whole thing beginning of the year. And I do a lot of the stuff you're reading now is, he's really playing this thing up pretty good. And he's had a whole 20 years of class. So I think you got to give him a break and let him have his year. But I'm sure that there's a lot taken away from the team itself. So that's that balance.
I don't know if we have this on the tape, if we cut it or not, but one of the things that Coney talked about, besides that we all know that, Derek is one of the best role models out there
Yes.
for kids, is the money that he felt that Derek made for them. He felt that Derek was underpaid. Imagine, he's saying at $20 million a year, the Yankees were able to take him and take his likeness and make so much more money with him. I don't know if that's on the next cut. If it's not, then I did ask Coney, as I had to, the perfect game. I always want to know when I talk to guys who pitch perfect games, did you have it in the pen? What'd you do last night? Did you get rest? Did you go out? What happened? If I'm right, I think he's talking about the perfect game. Let's see what David said the day that he threw a perfect game.
Well, Derek just doesn't get phased no matter what the moment is. He keeps his game the same. First pitch fastball, if it's there, he swings at it. He doesn't ever get out of his element. He doesn't ever get too high or too low. It sounds like a cliche, but it's really true. That's the way he is. And, you say some guys rise to the occasion. I think he's just the same. He's just that level guy the whole time. And those big hits in the World Series and those big hits in postseason just were an extension of what he always did during the regular season.
That's what Coney, pretty much what I thought he said about Derek, and you're right. And did I say it earlier? I think Derek hit over 400 against the Mets in the Subway Series. Or then he probably did that in the playoffs as well. 350.
You got to remind me.
Yeah, I got to remind you. Listen,
he's done real well.
You told me before the show you stick with your teams, except
Always
one,
do.
and we'll get to that in a second, Sal. You did bail on one. One more thing about Coney. Now I think I got it right. Sorry, guys over there in the booth. My bad. I do admit when I make a mistake.
Very few mistakes you make.
Well, so far, but it's only a 30-minute show. Let's hear what Coney said about the day he pitched a perfect game at Yankee Stadium. Remember the photo of him falling down on his knees. Let's hear what Coney had to say.
You know what it was? It was Yogi Berra Day. It was the first time Yogi was back in the stadium, and I remember seeing him before the game. I remember warming up in the bullpen before the game, watching him ride around the park in a convertible. I think it was a Thunderbird, and it just was a happy-go-lucky day. So I warmed. I wasn't even really thinking about the game. I was just so happy to be with Yogi and get caught up in the moment. So it just really nothing special. Just Yogi. Yogi was the one who was special.
Nothing special. Ended up being pretty special, Coney. We hear. Is perfect games, Sal, and you're a huge baseball fan, are perfect games like one of those moments like, where were you, in those kind of games? And there's only 50,000 tickets, but you got 1 million people saying they were at the game.
I was there. Yeah.
Right. Were you there?
No, I wasn't there, but I have at least one thing to say about David Cohn's perfect game. I wish he had a Met uniform on.
Well, he did for a while. He was a
No,
Met.
but not when he had the perfect game.
Well, that's true. I mean, let's
He left, he had a perfect game. Seaver left, he had his no-hitter. Everybody left, they had their perfect games, no-hitters. And we finally got Johan Santana, and then he goes out.
Well, Johan Santana throws, I think, 136 pitches
Yeah, I think it might have been more.
to get it. Right. And then, where are you? Santana, where are you? I mean, you're done. After that, the Mets got that
Then I know
no-hitter.
where I was.
Where were you for that one?
I was actually at a cigar charity dinner with the Nassau County Police. They were supporting some sort of a fundraiser in Nassau County. and I think it was at Mulcahy's, and we were outside and we were watching that perfect game. And watching that no-hitter wasn't perfect.
Right, there was a no-hitter, it wasn't perfect. And that's just exciting. You know, I found a little tape on you, Sally. You know, I mean, I would have thought you could maybe throw a perfect game. Let's see how you did. We caught this. This was, I don't remember what year you could take me through it, but I do think you threw it to Mike Piazza. Is that correct? Is that Mike in there?
I think it was, no, it might have been...
You don't even remember your battery mate?
I will in a second.
Well, we'll see it on tape. Let's go to the tape. Let's see Sal at Shea Stadium.
Yep, Shea Stadium.
Shea Stadium, iconic Shea Stadium. Let's see Sal throwing out the first pitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here they are, your 2005 New York Mets. We direct your attention to the pitcher's mound, where Sal Ferro, president of Alure Home Improvements, is ready to throw out tonight's ceremonial first pitch. Sal, it's your pitch.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Bring 'em out.
Sal from Allure. There you are. Now then, because you were talking about all the great Met arms now, they needed you then, Sal. What happened after that game? No one pulled you aside? Seth, you weren't there to maybe, work out a deal?
Listen, I have a chicken wing of an arm. I can hit, I can play. I played ball up until about 2 years ago. I played hardball. And I kind of hung up my spikes and never was known for my arm. But I'll tell you one thing about that day. And you talk about classy New York ball players. Piazza was a gentleman. But I was out there with my kids and my little girl, and she must have been 5 years old at the time. And David Wright was tossing, and he came over. Nobody asked him, nothing. He came over, shook my two sons' hands, came over, gave my daughter a ball, did a little thing on her head, shook my hand and said, "Nice job." Nobody went up to him, he just did it on his own. That's a classy ball player.
One of the few things I get the Mets have done right over the years to sign David Wright to a long-term deal, make sure he stays a Met. He wanted to always be a Met, came up as a Met, and he will be a Met. Let's talk about you jumping ship a little bit. You sit here and you tell me, I got my teams. Hey. I stick with my teams. And then I hear, doing a little information, my people, it's not all about your people, I got a few people too, that you're big Islander fan, or shall I say, was an Islander fan, and now you're jumping over in Henrik Lundqvist, and here we go, New York Rangers.
Yes. Never thought I could do it. I was I was an anti-Ranger guy. I did not like the Rangers. I was Mets, Knicks, New York Giants, and the Islanders. And
which is a weird mix. Usually it's like Mets, Jets, Islanders, right? Usually it's the way it is.
There's only so much pain I could take. I don't need the Mets and the Jets. My brothers do that. It's bad enough to see them do it. But let me tell you something. I'm going to get passionate about this. I do believe in loyalty. I do believe in sticking by your team, and I do believe the teams need to stick by us. Long Island Islanders. They've been here. I'm very good friends with Clark Gillies, Bobby Nystrom, some of the old-time Islanders who brought so much to this island. And to see them leave, to go to Brooklyn, and no disrespect to Brooklyn, no disrespect to the boroughs, but this is in my backyard. And I just sat back and said, you know what, you're leaving me. And you're leaving me, I don't know if I can root for the team anymore. And they're only going to Brooklyn. I had season tickets for years. I had sponsorships all over every entrance. You'd see our logos and everything, and they're gone. And it broke my heart so much that it's like, I don't know, maybe when the Dodgers went to California, I don't know. When
So Sal, your business, Alure Home Improvement, you advertise there, you're sponsored there. Like you told us, you have over 100 employees. So you're a main business guy in the Long Island community. Why weren't other business owners like you seeing that there is a way to make money and grow their companies and use a professional sports team, the only professional sports team here in Long Island? Why didn't it work?
I think it wasn't, and in fairness, the ownership. It wasn't really they had a really run-down Coliseum, and this is an area where business and government did not find a way to make it work. And I believe business and government, we've got to work together, and they didn't. And you could say shame on the Islanders, shame on the government, but somehow they didn't make it work. And you know what? I don't know if it was the sponsorships. If Charles Wan put a winning team on the ice, you would have had sponsorships. You would have had people come. And they're not the only professional sports team. The Long Island Ducks.
Yes, Buddy Housen, yeah.
Buddy Harrison, Frank Bolton. Frank Bolton's a dear friend of mine, and I see Frank, every couple of weeks we'll sit and talk. What the Long Island Ducks do for Long Island is great, and we are a huge sponsor of the Long Island Ducks, and they fill that stadium every single night. And you'll see Alure, you see all companies. That's community sports.
Was with Buddy Harrelson, also with Ron Darling, and he's going to come and sit in that chair if you don't mind. I'm going to have him in there.
Buddy can.
And I said to Buddy,
ask him how I hit. He pitched to me, Buddy.
Oh, I will. Don't kid yourself. I definitely will. One of the questions. But I did say to Buddy, I want you to come on the show to talk about the business end of the Ducks, because I know the Ducks are a very, very successful minor league franchise. So that's a good thing. Yeah. We only have a few minutes left. We'll talk a quick Knicks, because I just look at the Knicks being, I look at Phil Jackson. To me, Moses has come. Okay,
yeah. Moses is stuck on the mountain right now.
Well,
Moses need to come down a mountain.
Well, because G-D is still on top of Moses, because Moses isn't Moses when you come to the MSG 34th Street and 7th Avenue. Yeah. So I didn't get, and there was a perfect example. Why, Phil, are you in charge or not? Because if I wanted Steve Kerr, like you as a business guy, Steve, 5 years, $25 million, that's what they were offering, you want it. I heard rumors that Dolan was like, you can only go 3 years. I'm not going 4. I'm only giving $4 million a year. Have you heard anything? Because that sounds like Dolan is still in charge.
I went and had the opportunity to fly with the Knicks to Miami in their charter plane. Went down with them, watched them practice, watched the team, spent some time with Woodson. You're not going to find a classier, nicer man than Mike Woodson. The coaching staff, the whole bit. I sat around, I looked at that team, and I said, you know what? He needed some pieces. The hardest worker on that team, shooting baskets after practice is over, Carmelo Anthony. He's a workhorse. He's a hard worker. Jackson's main thing he's got to do is make sure he keeps Carmelo Anthony. Coach, no, you need Carmelo Anthony. You've got to re-sign him. And he's got to work with Carmelo Anthony like some of the other teams work with their superstars. That is one hard-working guy who cares about New York. And if we let him down and we don't bring somebody in to help him, shame on us and shame on the Knicks.
You know something? We're out of time, even though Connor told me I can go OT. Connor's the boss. The owner's kid, he's going to be taking over this empire, and hopefully he likes me and hires me, because I can still use the job. I want to thank Sal, Alure Home Improvement. 30 minutes is enough for us, buddy. We could go longer. We'll have to ask Corinne if we could create our own show, maybe just the Sal and Larry show.
I'll come back, but I'm going to wear a different color shirt, because I think we're clashing a little.
You think we're clashing? You like how I said the Sal and Larry show? I give you the top billing.
You threw me a bone because you want me to come back and you want to do the Sal and Larry show.
No, I want you to advertise. Listen, I want you like everybody else.
Davison Ferro.
Davison Ferro, Alure Home Improvement.
Boomer Cotton, Davison Ferro. I see it working.
We'll kill him in the ratings. Again, check me out on Facebook, Sports Biz with LD, sportsbiz.com, thedailyblue.com, Alure Home Improvement. We are here, Sports Biz with LD. I'm Larry Davis, your host. Love you. Thank you. I appreciate it. See you next week.
Sports Biz is sponsored by the Rampart Insurance Group for all your insurance needs. Special thanks to mintpros.com. Brought to you by the Daily Blue Network. Sports fans, this is Sports Biz with LD.